Qatar is a hidden gem in Western Asia that not many people know about. This small country is located on the Qatar Peninsula and is home to just over 2.9 million people. Qatar has a rich history dating back to the early 1900s when it was founded by Sheikh Jassim bin Mohammed Al Thani. The House of Thani has been in charge of Qatar ever since, and there are still arguments today about whether Qatar is officially a monarchy or a democracy. Before 1971, Qatar was owned by the British but became an independent country in 1971. Qatar shares a border with the Persian Gulf to the south and is a very wealthy country due to its large reserves of natural gas and oil. Today, we're counting down the 10 most interesting facts about Qatar. Before we begin, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to get notified of our new videos. 10. The main meal of the day in Qatar is eaten at lunchtime. In Qatar, breakfast is not considered the most essential meal of the day like it is in most other places. The main course is served at lunch instead. The largest supper is traditionally offered after prayers on Friday at 12 o'clock. This is seen as an opportunity for the entire family to gather and share. Cutlery is rarely used at most meals in Qatar, including this one. To scoop up the food, bread is utilized. Carriage is traditionally served after each meal. Carriage tea is made with cardamom and milk. Also, be sure to try out their match enhancements. Many Qataris appreciate this traditional dish. In most situations, it is a hearty stew of meat and rice. It is occasionally cooked with rice and fish. 9. Qatar has some of the lowest gas prices in the world. Qatar is one of the largest producers of liquid petroleum gas in the world. Consequently, gas prices in Qatar are lower than in most other countries. For example, as of January 2018, a liter of gas cost only 57 cents. This means that a gallon of gas cost less than $2. This is almost half the price of 1 liter of diesel in the United States. Although most countries get their oil at the same prices as the rest of the world, governments can change the prices through taxes. The government of Qatar, for instance, provides subsidies to its citizens so they can drive their cars for very little money. 8. Qatar will host the 2022 FIFA World Cup. In 2010, Qatar was selected to host the World Cup by FIFA. Qatar has been working hard to rebuild its stadiums in preparation for the event, but there has been a lot of widespread discontent with how the migrant workers have been treated. A lot of people are also worried about the very hot temperatures that the players and fans will have to deal with. Qatar is the first Arab country to receive this honor from FIFA. 7. Qatar, it's a cultural faux pas to admire someone's property. In Qatar, it is not okay to show that you like someone, but not for the reason you might think. If you like something in Qatari culture, the person who owns it has to give you that thing or something better as a gift. Most of us can't help but admire something beautiful, like a house or a car's wheels. In Qatar, if you do that, the owner should give you that house or something similar, according to tradition. Women are still considered property, so this rule also applies to them. So you should never like another man's wife. 6. In Qatar, the cost of renting is insane. If you're planning on living in Qatar long-term, you'll need to start saving. The cost of living in Qatar is high, especially when it comes to renting an apartment. On average, you'll pay $1,900 per month for a one-bedroom apartment. The high cost of living is due to the limited amount of land. Qatar has expanded its landmass by reclaiming land from the sea. With the population continuing to grow, the cost of living is only going to increase in the years to come. 5. Qatar is one of the safest countries in the world. According to the Global Crime Index, Qatar has the lowest crime rate in the Middle East. It was also ranked number 1 in the world in the same category. This shows how strict the security measures are that have been put in place to stop crime in the area. This is a great accomplishment, especially since other superpowers like the US and the UK were ranked 56th and 66th. Qatar is the safest country in the world when it comes to natural disasters. The report looked at things like how likely it was that such an event would happen and how well people were ready for it. 4. Qatar is the richest country in the world. According to the International Monetary Fund, Qatar is the richest country in the world. Each person in Qatar has an income of $82,890 US, and this number is likely to go up even more in the coming years. Qatar's wealth comes from selling oil, but it is also known for having some of the best airlines in the world. Despite the fact that the area is in the middle of a diplomatic crisis and the desert state has a troubled past, nothing can stop Qatar from being wealthy. The fact that Qatar has some of the tallest buildings in the world is a sign of its wealth. 3. There's a one female for every 3 males in Qatar. In 2015, the ratio of men to women in Qatar was found to be 3-to-1. This often leads to girls becoming engaged at young ages, as people believe that the number of available men is so low. However, it is thought that this ratio is skewed as many of the men in Qatar are migrants who have left their families behind in other countries in search of better job prospects. 2. Censorship is still very prevalent in Qatar. The government in Qatar still controls who can use the internet and block sites that it finds offensive or inappropriate. Most major news outlets in the country avoid news that could be seen as controversial. This is because criticizing the ruling class, even in a small way, can lead to persecution. Since Qatar won the right to host the World Cup, it has tightened its control over the media. This is likely an attempt to hide how badly workers are treated. 1. Saudi Arabia once invaded Qatar. Bahrain and Qatar are 2 countries located in close proximity to one another. Qatar has always been afraid of an attack from Bahrain. In the early 1520s, the Portuguese were in charge of Qatar, but the Ottomans eventually drove them out because of the constant fighting. Qatar was run by a series of temporary sheikhs until 1787, when a Saudi general named Sulaiman Faisal led an attack against the country. This attack killed people and forced others to leave the country because they were afraid for their safety. There have been rumors in the past that Saudi Arabia and the UAE were planning to invade Qatar again. That's all for today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to hear more videos from our channel, subscribe and make sure to turn on the bell icon.